Hello everyone. So no, I know you can see this is a calendar like we wondering what am I doing with the calendar? Yep. This is the first day of a new month is July 2026. So here we are. Keep learning biology and keep creating videos and content for biology. So today we're going to learn about the next phylum, which is Phylum Nematoda. Alright. So we learned some different phylums, and in these phylums there are members of the phylums are normally called the roundworms. Okay, they're called the roundworms, and there's specific reasons why they're called this because of this major feature. They have their bodies is very long and cylindrical, and they have this round cross section. They have this round cross section. That's why they're called roundworms. So sometimes we call organisms based on how they look like, the architect, the structure, and everything. We use that features to be able to classify them. That say, okay, this group of organisms are called roundworms, or they're called flatworms, or they're called whatever, using the structure they exhibit. So it's very important for you to get this term very right. I like using it free living. So some roundworms are free living. Why are they free living? Because they live on their own. They don't cause trouble. They don't find trouble. They don't cause harm to any other organisms. They just do their own stuff themselves. Okay, that's what they call free living. Why the stubborn ones, the stubborn nematoda, which are also the roundworms, they are parasites. And when they're parasite means they cause harm and affect other animals, they affect human beings. They cause harm. That's what they call parasites. And this parasite can be found inside the organism or they can be found outside the organism. All right. So don't get it straight. Free living on their own. They don't find trouble. It's an analogy. I just stay on my own. I don't look for trouble. That's why I'm free living. I just look for my own food and depend on myself. I'm independent. But parasites, they're very greedy. They're very greedy. They cannot stay on their own. They're looking for somebody who they want to harm and hurt and drive nutrients from the person. So parasites infect humans. They affect animals. And also also affect with plants. Okay. So I hope that analogy is very clear to you. Now, based on classification, is very important. So the kingdom is Animalia, and the phylum is Nematoda, and the common name is roundworm. Very important. All right. So in terms of habitats, so these roundworms they're found in different habitats. So the first one is freshwater. A water that don't have salt, like your rivers, your lakes. Then you have your marine water, which is salt water. You find them in the moist soil. You find them inside plants because some roundworms they are parasitic to plants. You find them in the root nodules of some plants and cause and reduce the yields of those plants. And this affects agriculture and affects productivity to farmers. And you can find some wicked ones, which is found inside animals and humans to cause harms and cause other problems to animals. So some good example of nematoda, you have your Ascaris nibicoides. So also known as the roundworm. You have your hookworms, you have your threadworms, also known as pinworm. You have your filarial worm. This worm, damn it. Then when we go for that, I will tell you what, I will show you something that this filarial worm has caused, and you see what it means. Then you have your guinea worm, you have your roots knot nematode, and this one affect plants. It's a plant parasite. Good. So these are some pictures of them. They look very beautiful, but some of them are very wicked. So this is one of them. One of them. You can see this one here affecting the leg of this beautiful child. And that's that. So now let's go through their general characteristics. So the first one, they are multicellular. I always make reference to this. Multicellular means organisms that has many cells. Okay, they have many specialized cells. That's why they're called multicellular. All right. So for this one, the bodies are cylindrical and unsegmented. Means the body doesn't have different compartments, so it's unsegmented. Okay. So all right. So unlike flatworms, flatworms, we did flatworms last time. My last video, you can go to my channel. You get information about um my channel about flatworms. So if you go there, you check it. Okay. So roundworms, they have long and round body, very long, and the body is very round. Unlike flatworm, they're just flat on the surface. All right. Now they exhibit bilateral symmetry. So for bilateral means the body can be divided into two equal halves. Okay, into two words equal halves. That is bilateral symmetry. All right. So if you look at this theory illustration here, you can see that if you look at this spherical symmetry, that's what we're talking about. This radial symmetry. All right, just like some plants, some the flowers on some plants. Then you can see this bilateral. You can see how it looks like here. This is what it looks like. It divided into two equal halves. Okay, so that's it. And don't get it twisted. I'm not telling you that this organism is an example of a nematode. I'm just giving you a description of how bilateral symmetry looks like. That's what this image is all about. Okay, so the next one, they are triploblastic. When you say triploblastic, means the body have three gems, which three gems means they have three different layers. So here you can see you have your ectoderm here with the outer layer, you have a mesoderm with the middle layer, then you have your endoderm with the inner layer. Okay, so very important for you to understand all the gems of these organisms. All right, so for the next one, they possess a pseudoxylem. Now, a pseudoxylem is kind of like is like a false body cavity that provides space for internal organs. So, for example, that in the body they have different space because they have some organs which they use to provide a lot of functions. So they have additional space into the body, which makes them to which creates spaces for other internal organs for them to carry out the function. So we call this a pseudoxylem. All right, pseudoxylem. Yep. All right. So the next thing here, they have a complete digestive system. So, like I told you, the body is pseudoxylem because they need extra spaces for the mouth, for the intestines, for the anus, and they use all those parts of the body to carry out this function. So, the mouth is used for feeding, they use for feeding, while the anus is used to remove what waste. You understand? So very nice. So if you look at this diagram here, you can see the mouth. Yes, the mouth, and you can see where the anus is. This is where the anus is found. And you can see other structure like your seta. You can see the male paw. All right. So you have the male paw. So if you look at this now, you can see that they have a male paw, but it's not female paw. So which means most of the species have different sexes. So you can have a male species, you can have a female species. Okay. So that is just one important point. All right. So they have the mouth, they have the intestine, they have the anus, which makes the digestive system complete. Good. Now, the next point here, that bodies are covered with a tough cortical. All right. This tough cortical helps to protect the body. For example, some species have this cortical which prevents the inner structure from drying up. Just like if you want to use plant, for example, now a plant now can have a cortical that help to limit the amount of transpiration that takes place out of the plant to prevent dryness of the stem. Okay, to make the stem to retain the nutrient of actually absorbed from the soil in a very long period of time. So this species have this cortical that protect them from running out, prevent drying out, and resist digestive enzyme in parasitic species. Okay, they have no circulatory or respiratory system. So they will obtain oxygen and remove carbon dioxide through the process of diffusion. And this is the next topic we're going to deal with when I'm done with classification. That is osmosis and diffusion. That is cell and its environment. That's a very interesting topic we're going to deal with. Okay, so the next one, most species have separate sexes. Like I said before, you have the male species, and the male is smaller, while the female are normally bigger. Okay, so you say separate sexes means you have a male species, you have a female species. Okay, so they come together to give rise to a new individual through reproduction. So for them to have separate sexes, the first thing that have to come to mind is that they reproduce sexually because the male and the female will come together to reproduce. So they reproduce sexually, and the female produce thousands of eggs. And these thousands of eggs bring about survival because out of all these thousands of eggs, there's a possibility that most of the eggs will not survive. You understand? So maybe say out of 1,000 eggs, maybe 100 eggs may survive to give rise to a new larvae. All right, or maybe in a very harsh condition, all the eggs will be destroyed. But for them to have these thousands of eggs, there's a chance that most of those eggs will survive to give rise to a new individual. So reproduction is sexually. Okay. Now the next one here, all we need to know here now is the economic importance. So the first thing we're going to check now is the beneficial importance. So in terms of cell fertility, so nematode, most of the free living species, they help in breaking down organic matter. So if you look at this picture here, this is very nice organic matter. So because most of them you can find them in the soil, they are most of them that are saprophytic. They feed on dead organisms. When they feed on those dead organisms, what happens? That organism tends to decompose very fast and it breaks down that organism into organic matter. And when that organism become a organic matter, what happens? They're very useful to plants. Okay, they use for plant because plants utilize nutrients from it, get high amounts of carbon to be able to what to grow and perform very well. So this is one of the importance, beneficial importance. All right. So the next one here, they are used for scientific research. So we have a species now, your Cynohabditis elegans. Now you can see a picture of this species here. So they can be used widely for scientists to study development and genetics. So very important. So scientists use this species to carry out research and all that. So we have this harmful importance. So like I told you before, some species are parasitic. So you can see this guy suffering from stomach pain, and this is caused by ascaris, which causes what? Ascariasis. Okay, and the symptoms is abdominal pain, malnutrition, and intestinal blockage in severe cases. All right. So the next one will have your hookworm. You can find the hookworm in the leg. You can see the leg of this person. And these hookworms, they are tiny parasites that enter through the bare skin. And when they get to the bare skin, they can cause a lot of infection. And they normally come from contaminated soil. And most of them can cause what they call anemia, can cause weakness, and can cause fatigue. So this is one of the negative effects of this species, the hookworm. So now you can see this picture. If you look at the leg of this individual, I can see very big. We call this elephantiasis. Like I told you before, I'm going to tell you about filarial worms. This is one of the things that filarial worms used to cause. We call this elephantiasis. And this is called, and the symptoms are swelling of the legs, the arm, and other body parts. And you can see how it looks like. It's very terrible. All right. So the next one, guinea worm. You can see how guinea worm get into the leg of a human. So they emerge through the skin, causing pains, and sometimes they can also cause an ulcer. All right. Then, this species normally affect plants. We call the nematode, which is normally known as the root knot nematode. So they attack plant roots. The attack plant roots lead to poor growth and reduced harvest. So once they affect your plant, you start having low yield, and your plants are able to produce fruits in the way you want them to produce. Okay. So that's that. So let's go through some prevention method of nematode disease. So the first one you need to do is once you have a fruit, you wash your fruit and vegetable thoroughly, and it's very important to drink clean water and safe water. Like I always say, you can actually be 100% certain that the water is clean and safe. Water can look very clean, but they can be some species swimming in the water, just swimming around. Then when you drink it, it's causing problems. The next one, maintain good personal hygiene, make your environment clean and tidy up properly. So dispose of human waste properly. So wear shoes to prevent hookworm infection from getting to your skin. Deworm regularly where recommended by a doctor. And practice good farm hygiene to reduce plant nematode infestation. Those root knot parasites affect the root nodules of plants. Okay. So difference between platyhelminths and nematodes. So our last video we talked about platyhelminths. So just to differentiate between both of them, I just find this very helpful because it help you in terms of distinction between both of them. So if you look at this, for the platyhelminths, they have the body is flat, but nematode, the body is cylindrical. So this is a very good type of exam question they can ask you. Then for platyhelminths, they are coelomates, and the nematode are pseudocoelomates. Okay, so this acylome means they don't have xylem at all. Why for nematode they have xylem, but some have a lot of space in the cavity that allows spaces for other organs for them to perform function. Then for type of digestion, so digestion for platyhelminths is incomplete because they don't have a complete digestive tract. But for nematode, the digestion is complete because they have a complete digestive tract. So for platyhelminths, most of them are hermaphrodites. For hematode, They have separate sexes, so they undergo sexual reproduction. Then, just for you to understand, because for the examples, then you have a tapeworm for platyhelminths and a planaria. Or the last time, the planaria is very dangerous because it's no, no, planaria is free living. Yeah, they're free living. They look around, they mind their own business, But tapeworm are very dangerous because it's harm and infection. Then you have your ascaris and your hookworm, which are very parasitic. Yep. Good. So now in this multiple choice question, just to be sure you've watched this video to this point, all right. So I have a multiple choice question. One of these questions is not correct. So it's your duty to spot which of the question is not correct, which of the answer for this question is not correct, and put the correct answer in the comment section. Okay. So the first one, members of the phylum Nematoda are commonly known as what? They're known as what? The roundworms. Okay. So the next one, which of the following members of phylum Nematode, which of them is belongs to this phylum? So a very good example is the Ascaris. So the earthworm is not there, the tapeworm is not there, and Hydra is not there. Then for the next question, roundworm possesses a dash. You have blind digestive system. You have a complete. They have a complete digestive system. So which disease is caused by filarial worms? So here it says cholera. You have malaria and all that. So out of these four multiple choice question, I want you to checkmate and tell me which of them is correct and which of them is wrong. Then with that, I know that you have watched this video to this point and you actually follow this video to the last bit. So here you just have some questions for you to just play with. So all you have to do is what? How can you define Phylum Nematoda? You state 6 characteristics of roundworms. Explain 3 adaptation of parasitic nematodes. Differentiate between platyhelminths and nematoda. And state 5 methods of preventing disease caused by roundworms. Okay. So this is the last point of the video. So just to know you watched this to this point, let me spot out which of those multiple choice questions is correct and which of them is wrong. And then I'll know yes, you've watched this video to the last bit. Okay. So I'm going to say thank you for watching the video to this point. All right. Just subscribe to my channel because we're just getting started. This is the first topic for biology. So you just like kind of like a step. So I'm taking it from the beginning to the end. And don't forget that my aim is to teach all topics in biology, and my intention is that students who miss a lecture, for example, maybe you stay off school for 1 week, you can actually use my video to homeschool, stay at home and learn. Yeah, that's usually why I always create my time to put slides. I put something you can read and write down. That's why I always put those things down in my slide to help you to be able to get the best out of my videos. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'm going to see you next time. And don't forget, I wish you all a happy new month. This July 2026.